Ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha. A few days ago, there was a public dust-up between the YouTuber SirFoch and World of Tanks developers Wargaming, or more specifically, being I had nearly 100 emails clarifying this point, Wargaming EU. Now, what had happened was, SirFoch had released a video in which he was highly critical of one of Wargaming's premium tanks, the Chrysler K. Apparently, this tank doubles down on the freemium tactics of the game's design, and it essentially requires the user to make use of premium ammunition, which of course requires real-world money to purchase in order to cause any form of significant damage to the tank, while at the same time having a fairly weak weapon which requires the user of the Chrysler K to use premium ammunition themselves in order to be effective. Now, in a public forum thread between SirFoch and one Phelan had requested the video be taken down. SirFoch responded by stating, "You can do whatever you want, but the video is staying there, sorry." To which Phelan responded with the threat, "It is up to you, but in that case we will have to go through YouTube and take it down with a copyright strike. If we have to do this, you won't be able to monetize any Wargaming content in the future, so I strongly suggest removing the video and avoid similar ones in the future. I am pretty sure you can criticize the company and the game in a civil manner as well." Now, SirFoch was labeled a community contributor until this incident, and I do have to say that it does seem that a great deal more people seem to be focusing on that aspect than what was really wrong here. Now, many more seem to be focusing with laser accuracy the merits and drawbacks of the Chrysler K itself, which strikes me as being in some instances not getting the point, and in others being far more concerned with the safety and well-being of the developers than of the system they threatened to abuse and the YouTuber they wronged while doing so. It strikes me as having a tribalistic fanboy attitude the likes of which I haven't seen outside of the Roberts Space Industries forums, and before you all start aiming your freshly sharpened pitchforks in my direction, allow me to explain. Yes, SirFoch was a community contributor up until this incident. Wargaming, and I do not know if this was Wargaming EU or not, willingly brought SirFoch on as an ambassador of sorts for their company, knowing full well the type of content he produced beforehand. It's no small wonder that his acerbic tongue was leveraged at Wargaming, not just Wargaming EU, multiple times. This time, however, seemed to be the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back. On Sunday, Wargaming EU, delivered the following statement to Kotaku in which they said, "We are more than willing to give members of our community second chances, but there is a level of toxicity and or offensive language that is unacceptable. We regret having to go to such extreme measures in SirFoch's case, but we also don't consider those measures to be censorship because we weren't trying to silence SirFoch's opinion. We were simply seeking to curb the extremely profane language of a member of our contributor program. SirFoch's latest claim that we're somehow prohibiting him from making future videos involving our games is completely false. He's more than welcome to make more Wargaming-related videos. If those videos continue to include hate speech and homophobic slurs, we'll take the necessary and appropriate action." Well, now isn't that interesting? Now, I did watch the original video in its entirety, and there were absolutely no homophobic slurs to be found, unless one considers the phrase "fuck this tank" and "fuck Wargaming" to be homophobic in any way, which I'm highly skeptical that that is the case. Now, this boils down to the whole crux of the matter. Wargaming EU, threatened a DMCA strike, more commonly known as a copyright claim, on SirFoch's channel because they didn't enjoy the words that were coming out of his mouth. For clarification, a copyright strike is based upon exactly that, a copyright, and a copyright does not cover foul language, nor would it cover hate speech if there were any to be found, which there was not. Even if fair use did not apply here, which, spoiler alert, the video most certainly falls under the auspices of fair use, the grounds for filing the copyright claim would still be considered spurious, as it was done very much under the express written statement of being due not to the fact that their copyrights were being infringed, which it wasn't, but that it was due to his language, which wouldn't apply. In addition to that, they threatened that he would not be able to monetize any further Wargaming videos, which is frankly not how this works at all, and was clearly a part of a scare tactic to make sure he removed his video, and unfortunately, it worked. You see, dealing with the threat of a copyright strike on your channel is scary in the extreme, especially for one who has not faced one before. Indeed, sometimes, as is the case here, merely the threat of a copyright strike, no matter how fraudulent, can be enough to garner the desired effect. Unfortunately for Wargaming, Wargaming EU, their attempts to silence SirFoch ran them afoul of multiple YouTube content creators and traditional games media in the process, and the resultant responses have not been kind in the least to Wargaming's heavy-handed actions. As a result of this situation garnering a fairly massive amount of visibility, it appears that Wargaming EU, has decided to attempt to save face. In a statement released today, they said the following: "We have further reviewed the incident of last Friday involving SirFoch and his Chrysler KGF rant video, and now we could have handled the situation a lot better. We strongly support our players, including our community contributors' right to speak critically about us in our games. We acted too quickly and over the line when we threatened to have YouTube remove SirFoch's video through a copyright infringement complaint, and we are apologizing for that. We're committed to doing a better job on this front. We're going to improve the way we communicate with our community and our community contributors, and as part of that effort, we will work with them on more detailed, specific guidelines to help ensure incidents like this don't happen again. Our official position is that Wargaming will not take copyright action against opinions based on our publicly released content. Over the weekend, we released a statement to some media outlets regarding the content of SirFoch's video that inferred that SirFoch's videos contained hate speech and homophobia. While we would obviously not want such content to be associated with any of our games, this video clearly did not. We apologize for this statement, and we don't stand behind those claims. We love our players and our contributors, and we appreciate their honesty and commitment. We are committed to using this incident to grow and improve. There's a whole lot of commitment going on here. So, to boil it down, Wargaming EU, has realized that threatening a copyright strike, which is a legal action for something as simple as being vulgar and highly critical of their pay-to-win game mechanics as it turns out, might not be such a good idea. In addition, they're attempting to paint the video as homophobic and containing hate speech after the video was removed from YouTube, even though it is still publicly viewable on Facebook, when that was demonstrably false. I would like to hope that Wargaming, as a $500 million a year company, would be able to learn from such a blatant overreach of power as this, but unfortunately this is not the first time they've gone after YouTubers over videos that contain something they didn't like, and as such, I'm sure it will not be the last. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and share. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and make sure to stay up to date on when new videos are released. Links to my Patreon, Twitter, Facebook, and all the others are in the description down below. And if you have your own ideas, thoughts, or comments, please feel free to leave them down in the comments. I do read them, even though there have been a lot more than usual. I still do try and read through them all. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha, and I'll see you next time.